Hey there, CJ Math students. I'm going to help you out with notes 2.11. This is part 1. So here's our key ideas for today. Big idea here: a change in elevation or temperature may be positive or negative depending on whether it is increasing or decreasing. So going up or down. So going up is obviously positive, going down is obviously negative. So a hiker starts hiking at the beginning of a trail at a point which is 200 feet below sea level. Important detail. He hikes to a location on the trail that is 500 feet above sea level and stops for lunch. So first question is, what is the vertical distance between 200 feet below sea level and 500 feet above sea level? So let's start at the top where he started and subtract all the way to the bottom. So minus 200 feet below sea level, so negative 200. So we should realize that, hey, this is a KCC problem. 580 minus negative 200 really turns into 580 plus positive 200, right? Keep, change, change. So we should get the vertical distance is 780 feet. How should we interpret this? In the context of the problem, he walks 780 feet from start to lunch break. Right? There's nothing about height or anything in there. It's just, this is the 780 feet. So, and it should be a positive change in elevation, right? He's walking up 780 feet. Now, after lunch, the hiker hiked back down the trail from the point of elevation, which is 580 feet above sea level, to the beginning of the trail, which is 200 feet below sea level. So again, let's go ahead and say, all right, we've got our mountain here, and we could go ahead and say, all right, this is sea level, right? So this is 0. And the start of his trip is down here, right? This is the start at negative 200. So we'll say he ate lunch, which was up here at 580. Right? So he walks all the way from 580 down to negative 200. So what's the total distance in here? Well, from here to here is 580, and then from here to here is another 200. So what's the vertical distance between 580 feet and 200 again? Basically, it should be the same exact thing, right? Because, you know, if I start by keep, change, change, if I walk up 780 feet, I'm going to have to walk back down 780 feet. But how do I interpret this? Is the change in elevation here will be negative 780 feet because he walked down the mountain. Keyword down, right? When he was walking up it was a positive 780, but because he walked down the mountain, it's negative 780. Just tricky. You gotta be very careful about the words in that problem. So exercise 2, the distance between a negative number and a positive number is 12.5. What are the numbers? You could make up a whole bunch of different combinations. Let's just start off by saying, pick two numbers that have a distance of 12. Well, you could say negative 6 to 6. They have a distance of 12. So what did I do there? I just said, all right, here's 12. Let's split that in half between 6 and 6, right? So negative 6 and 6. Now take a half. Let's split a half in half, right? How do I do that? Well, if you had 50 cents, what's half of 50 cents? A quarter, right? 25 cents. 1/4 and 1/4. So 6 and 1/4, here's 6. If I divide this up into fourths, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 6 and 1/4, negative 6 and 1/4 would be right here. Positive 6 and 1/4, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. Positive 6 and 1/4 would be right here. The distance between these two numbers is 12.5. Exercise 3, use the distance formula to find each answer. Support your answer using a number line diagram. So yeah, let's go ahead and draw ourselves a number line here. What is the distance between negative 7, if this is 0, and 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 4, 5, 6, and negative 4. So we got negative 7, negative 4. Well, you could just start. You say 1, 2, 3, 3 spaces, right? Another way you could go ahead and prove that is you could say negative 7 minus negative 4. Keep, change, change, plus positive gives you negative 3. Only problem is it's not negative 3 spaces of this distance, it's the absolute value of negative 3, which gives us 3 spaces. Find the change in temperature if it rises from negative 18 to 15. Use a vertical number line. So here's our vertical number line. Here's 0 right here. We'll say it starts at negative 18 down here, rises all the way to 15 up here. Well, from negative 18 to 0 is 18 spaces, right? And then from 0 to 15 is 15 more spaces. So we're going to say, hey, it's rising 18 spaces, and then it's rising 15 spaces. So basically, this problem turns out to be, after drawing our picture, 18 plus 15, which is 31 degrees, right? The temperature is not 31 degrees. There's a 31 degree change in temperature. It's still cold outside. It's still 15 degrees, but it's risen 31 degrees from 18 degrees. Would your answer in part be different if the temperature dropped from 15 to negative 18 degrees? Well, let's think about this. Here's 0 again. Here's 15 degrees. And here's negative 18 degrees. So if I'm dropping, I'm going down 15, down 18, right? So what is negative 15 plus negative 18? Well, that's negative 31. So the only difference is that a drop in temperature results in saying, hey, the temperature went down 31 degrees. You could either say negative 31, or you could just say it dropped by 31 degrees. You wouldn't say dropped by negative 31 degrees. You would just say the word dropped is like your negative sign in that case. That's the end of part 1 notes.